Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Sharing the Scoop, and I have with me is Anmol. So hi Anmol, how are you?
Hi Ganesh, I'm really good. How are you doing?
I'm good too. So Anmol, can you please introduce yourself for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. I am an MBA pass out of 1820 batch from IIM Trichy, and before that, I was working with Philips Lighting. And post my graduation, I started working with Godrej Grovet in their business leadership program at manager designation. And yeah, so that's been my journey pretty much. So I am at core an engineer, electronics engineer, and after that I wanted to go for, I was very passionate for electronics basically, so I wanted to go for a company, which is a pioneer in that domain. So and that's where Philips came into picture, and I spent close to 3.5 years with Philips, and that's where I got to spend a lot of time on, working on cutting edge kind of technologies in smart lighting, IoT, and stuff. And I got to work with a lot of product managers there, and that's where I saw the business part of it, and that's what prodded me, I think, to go for an MBA, and that's how I ended up. I'm Trichy, so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Amazing. So as you said that you are not a fresher, you were working after your engineering, and that's how you you thought about doing your MBA.
Yeah.
For how long you worked before joining the MBA?
So I worked for close to 10.5 years with
Three and a
Philips.
half years.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty huge. And then how did you manage your studies? How you used to prepare for your exams, and how you manage the schedule?
Yeah, so I think that's not pretty hard if we can just dedicate some time out of our schedule. So I remember I used to come back home from office at around 7:30 or so, and after a bit of exercise and all that stuff, I used to go to study by 11, and that was a very scheduled kind of setup for me, which I had made for myself from 11 to 12:30. I would dedicate every day. So yeah, I think that's enough for us to, I think, crack any entrance exam for that matter. But the key is consistency. And so if you can make a schedule and then stick to it, and so I think that's pretty much it. Other than that, you need to understand what are your strengths and weaknesses, and basically the earlier you identify which are your strengths and weaknesses, the better you can do, because you have to build on your strengths. That's how we're gonna score more in any set of exams we take. So yeah, that's how I used to manage.
Okay, and so basically, how earlier you started preparing to the exam? 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years?
So the thing is, I actually never prepared for CAT, to be very honest. So
Okay,
I prepared for GMAT.
okay,
Yes, so my initial plans were to go abroad for my MBA, and so I think I dedicated close to 3 months or so for my GMAT preparation, and the schedule I was telling you about was majorly for
yeah,
GMAT
yeah.
only. So I scored well enough. I scored 740 or so in GMAT, but then something happened and I couldn't just go abroad. So some issues on my personal front. So that's where I decided, okay, fine. Anyway, I have to do MBA, so I'll take CAT also. So
Oh,
I just went for CAT, and that's how it happened. So yeah, you can say again, if I had to prepare for CAT also, so I'll dedicate 3 to 4 months for that, given the schedule I had.
okay,
Yeah.
amazing. And apart from CAT, any other Indian entrances that you had written?
Yeah, so I scored in Snap. I took Snap also. So
Okay.
Symbiosis was another college which I went through, and yeah, these two I took.
Okay. And what were the calls that you had for your VAT PI or the second stage? Any calls from
Uh,
Symbiosis?
yeah, I got interviewed at Symbiosis Pune. Then I had call from, sorry, I took XAT also. So I had
Okay.
call from XLRI, but for their HR program. And then for all the CAP IIMs, then I had call from IMS and Shillong. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay. And if I then ask you, if you can differentiate between the second stage preparation of all these colleges, as you said, three different colleges. One is a
Yeah,
Symbiosis Group College, one is XLRI, which is again
yeah,
premier for HR, and then you had the CAP calls for the IIMs, and one of the old IIMs also, which is Shillong as well. So if I
yeah.
ask you if you can differentiate between the kind of questions that they ask, or what was those interview experiences?
So I didn't go for XLRI interview because I was very clear that I don't want to get into HR, so why waste there and my time? So
Correct.
that's out of picture. And otherwise, I think it was more or less same for all the colleges, because what I can sense from my experience, the thing which all of them wanted to test was how calmly and confidently you can answer things, and it was not just about the knowledge you bring to table, because they also pretty much understand that it's impossible for anyone to know everything, right? So let's say if you do not know something, be very upfront about it and say no, and I don't know, and say sorry about it. So I don't think there is a very stark difference between that, between all these colleges. Only thing that same biases had in particular was they had an extempore round. So they showed me a picture and then gave me a minute or so to prepare on that, and then I had to speak for I think a couple of minutes on that. That was standing. That was something which Symbiosis in particular has. Otherwise, all the calls I had, they had pretty much similar process: GDPI, VAT, and then interview. So yeah, that's the processes. Yeah,
Okay, okay. And you have just passed out from IIM Trichy this year,
yeah,
2020 batch.
yeah.
Okay. And right now you are working where?
Godrej Agrovet.
Godrej Agrovet. Okay, okay. So when you were in your first year of MBA in IIM Trichy, where did you intern, and what was that experience was?
Yeah, so I interned with Godrej Group only. So they have a structured internship program called Gurukul. So I interned there only, and the experience was very, very good, I must say. Because see, one of the reasons I went for MBA was to pivot my career from, very technical domain towards market oriented setup, and I was always interested in FMCG or FMCD domain, and that was pretty clear to me that this is the domain I wanted to be in. So that's how I got in Godrej, and the project I got in internship was also very, very good, as if I consider the business perspective, it was on distribution strategy for some of their products. Yeah, so the experience was really good, and that's what taught me that uh, classroom learning does come handy. It's not that you can completely ignore it, but at the same time, there is huge difference between what happens on field and what happens in classroom discussions. It has to be a mix of both, right? So you cannot say that I have learned enough and I can go to field and vice versa. So that way it taught me really good, and I was able to better select my electives in second years accordingly. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And okay, so can you give us some more insights about IIM Trichy, which only a student would know, and from outside we would never come to know?
Yeah, so I think largely all the MBA programs across IIMs are structured similarly. The schedule is very, very, very hectic, and you barely get to sleep in first term, especially. And I think that's what most of us know. And I was in placement team, so it was even more hectic for us. So something peculiar, I think, is more on the infra part of it, because the hostel facility at Antrich is really good. We had the single occupancy rooms with AC, and I think that contributed a lot in getting away from our tiring
Homes.
kind of setup. And so when you come back to your room at the end of the day, when you have been running whole day, it was a big relief. You can have good discussions with your friends when you need not worry about the summer heat outside, because Trichy is a very warm place. So that way it's really good. That's another point which is really great about Trichy is the support you get from faculty. So I haven't heard from because I have friends from other IIMs as well. So if I compare that, the faculty at IIM Trichy is very, very approachable. They go extra mile to support you whenever you need. You can approach them anytime. Obviously, you'll have to take appointments, but they'll never deny on anything. They'll tell you a lot of experiences from their work ex, their past, their research. So that's a very something which stands out for Trichy, I think. And on the lightest part of it, MBA is not all seriousness and all, so you need some fun out of it also, right? So there are a lot of places around Trichy to visit, if at all you get some time out of schedule, so you can plan your weekend outings, and you can chill with your friends and come back rejuvenated and contribute to courses more. So I think that's what sets apart Trichy.
Okay, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
Super. Any pro tips, Anmol, before we wind this up for the candidates, how they should go about their preparation, or again in the second stage, the things that help you, or the kind of mindset that because it helps when people know that somebody has already made it, have gone through the same process, gone through the
Yeah.
system. Is there any pro tips?
Sure. So I think it's important that uh, you structure your thoughts well. So whether it be your GD, whether it be your PI, or whether it be VAT, it all has to be very coherent in nature, right? So for me, the thing was I understood, or I at least took it in a manner that my communication was good enough to go with. So I did not put much effort on that. But at the same time, I understood that I have to work a lot on building the story part of it. That why exactly is MBA important for me at this stage in my life, right? So that's where you need to work whenever you are speaking something in front of the panel, or whenever you are writing answers to something. It has to follow a flow. You cannot give a broken answer, right? So you start somewhere, then you go somewhere else and end somewhere else. That's not what they look for, right? And that's I think a very important part. You should be very clear about what you want to tell and what story you want to narrate, right? So I think you can be in proper control of your interview per se, because you can give cues to the interviewers when you are talking about your life, because who else knows more about your life than you, right? So try to steer the interview in a direction where you are comfortable. Let's say the very first question most often is, tell us about yourself. So try to structure that answer in a way that you give them highlights to pick from, and that's where the next question comes, and you should anticipate it in that manner, right? So when you start doing that, I think you can steer the interview in a direction where you can be you, and you can speak honestly with all the confidence you've got, because it's your story and you are the protagonist of the story. So that's I think the most important part according to me. The rest I think falls in place once you have that sorted.
Amazing, amazing. So basically, it's a game of chess where you are supposed to anticipate the next move and
Yeah, exactly. But
place your
that
moves according.
exactly, and similar to that, it takes a lot of practice.
Of course,
It
of course.
cannot happen overnight. So you need to practice on that. You need to come up with a lot of different stories. You need to then sort and pick the best one out of it. So that's again, practice matters a lot on this. Yeah.
And again, you should have a second or the third backup option ready also if they don't go
Yes.
according, because I've heard so many stories that students are prepared, and then all of a sudden the panel might start, so how did you commute till here, what was the
Yeah,
experience, and
that
come
happened with me. Yeah, yeah, in Simba's interview only. They started
come
questioning my blazer itself, which brand is it, when was it established, and all. So that's where you need to bring your calmness into picture, right? So I
completely
was
throws you off, and
exactly. So if you look very startled, so they understand that you cannot handle situations, which are not anticipated. So you can calmly answer, sir, I do not know about that. If you know, you can tell confidently. That's the key.
amazing, amazing. So
Yeah.
Anmol, thank you so much for your time and this amazing insights that you have given us about your preparation, about the college and process and everything. Hopefully we can do such more sessions in the future as well. And all the very best for your future endeavors.
Definitely, Ramesh. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to being part of the series again. So, thanks to you guys for starting such a lovely initiative, and I hope whatever I spoke makes some sense and it helps participants and whoever is seeking help out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm very sure it will add immense value, because in terms of the structure and the things that you have spoke, uh, these are the things that people need to understand at the beginning of the process itself, rather
Yeah,
than having to go back and have those regrets that, oh, wish I could have known that, and wish I could
right.
have done that. And so, as I said earlier also, it helps a lot when somebody already has gone through the process, and when they come and validate the same things, it makes a more impact. I personally feel that for the
Certainly,
candidate.
certainly it does. It does, and I hope that I can help somehow. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye
you too.
bye.
Yeah, bye.